There are basically two options for this year's premium release. If it is actually just a glorified expansion pack that they're selling for $70, meaning it's the same engine and the same client, so they don't have to do any of that groundwork again, then it's probably going to be fine. That would be better than option 2, which is that it is a new engine made by Sledgehammer, in which case it will have been massively rushed and we will have a Cold War experience again, where the game releases totally not ready to be released because they did not give the devs enough time, and it will be a disaster. Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are absolutely live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast, episode number 307.
Is that
My
right?
name is Casey. Also, I don't know. That's what you wrote. Also known as Razinon. Today, I am joined by Tanner Dropshot.
Hey.
Once again, wearing a hoodie with shorts, which I'll never understand.
Why would I wear pants in the house?
Because you're cold.
They're not comfortable, though. Pants aren't comfortable.
You don't have sweats, man?
No, of course, sweats aren't comfortable either.
Sweats aren't comfortable?
Not the ones I've owned. No.
Yeah,
they're always too tight
sweats
in the fucking crotch. They like come up too high and like hang out on your balls. It's either that or they're extremely baggy. They don't have a good fit.
You gotta get the baggy ones.
They don't have it well. Yeah. Not doing that either.
Anyways, welcome to the show. Today we're doing a podcast about Call of Duty, the video game franchise. Yeah. Principally Modern Warfare 2 and its surrounding entities. So today, we have a couple things to talk about. This is a little bit of a mishmash type of episode. We got some news, we got some official patch notes. We have some unofficial patch notes, which is fun and exciting, and some more trouble at Activision, which is not actually... No, well, kind of, whatever. We'll get into it. We're running the whole gamut today, though. But before we get into that, we do have a couple of announcements. First and foremost, welcome to our new gold patrons, Noah, Rich, Matt B, and Dom D. Let's absolutely go. It's the most Italian name I've ever seen, by the way. Welcome, boys, to the Patreon at the gold level. Very much appreciate that. More importantly, and a better person than you four, Tyler S., our new platinum patron. Welcome aboard, King. We very much appreciate that. And more importantly than you still, a better person than all 5 of you fucks, our new Damascus patron, Wavy Raven. Change it. Welcome, big boy, to the absolute Patreon. Very kind of you guys to do that, and thank you very much. Also, we got some new YouTube members, Alex Ford and Ginger, joining up a couple days ago, getting those VODs. Thank you, fellas. You could always become a YouTube member to support, but the best way, of course, for you and for us is on Patreon. Patreon.com/thedropshot. 5 bonus eps a month. Monthly hangouts. Every episode ad-free and early access as well. A lot of value for very little money. So if you want to support the show or get bonus content and all those other goodies, patreon.com/thedropshot. Speaking of, by the way, we did in fact do it. We put out all them bonus eps for February. On the 28th of February of the year 2023, we did an episode, about a 2-hour bonus episode, which is pretty long for the Patreon. Although not as long as you might think, since we went down in episodes from 7 to 5.
Yeah.
So it's still longer than normal though. And it was on ranked Call of Duty. And our experience, our tips, our thoughts, our opinions on the ranked multiplayer facet of Call of Duty. And as I had been saying before recording the episode, when we were talking about it, I was excited to do it because I was hearing a lot of negativity on the timeline, but on paper, everything looked really cool and good about ranked. And then, so I didn't really know what to expect. And then we played ranked, and then we talked about it, and that was the episode. And I guess I'll just say for now, I mean, you should listen to the episode if you want all of our thoughts, obviously, but I had and have been having a tremendous amount of fun playing ranked play. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but I have been enjoying it tremendously, way more than I expected to. And the people shitting on ranked on the timeline, again, kind of as I suspected, have issues that are probably only going to be at way higher ranks than I'm at right now, or ever will be at, to be clear. Which is like cheaters, like a bunch of cheaters, or people they think are cheating anyway. But you know, we're playing in like silver. Well, ranks don't matter. Go listen to it. But it was an interesting episode. I really enjoyed it, and it was super long. What were your thoughts on that ep on ranked play and all that?
Yeah, I thought it was good. We talked a lot about how like the system works, which we're going to kind of cover again a little bit today, briefly. But yeah, it does sound good on paper. I do think there are a lot of little things wrong with it that could make the experience a lot better. Like not having placement matches, I think, is a bad aspect for the ranked mode. Yeah, I don't know though. It's all over the place. It's either something that's ranked is very, very fun when you're doing well and winning, or even if you're losing and the matches are close. But if you get like farmed and ranked, there is nothing less
just getting blown out.
So unenjoyable, such a miserable experience, awful, unfun, terrible. But I mean, it really does show what just a ranked mode will do to a game to get players on it, which is again, I can't believe 3 years after Warzone released, we still do not yet have a ranked mode. It has been 3 years and we still don't have one. And they do not understand what that does for the player base and how much longer that keeps a person playing the game. Like since ranked dropped, Modern Warfare 2 viewership on Twitch has been way higher than Warzone viewership.
Interesting.
Like all the guys that usually play Warzone are grinding ranked like all the time. So yeah, they've never understood. We're finally getting Warzone ranked next season, but it's like, God, holy fuck, that took forever, man. So
I know.
Gives you a reason to play the game.
Yeah, very surprisingly to me, because I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy ranked multiplayer or not. I had a feeling I would enjoy it to some degree, because I liked even Vanguard ranked multiplayer, but I never really went back and played that again. This multiplayer, I enjoyed way more. I do enjoy way more than I even expected to. And we've even been playing it off stream after having done that episode just for fun. And for me personally, I would much rather play ranked multiplayer than play Warzone right now, which is something I never would have thought would be the case ever. Like, I'm shocked that that's true, but I would much rather play ranked multi right now than play Warzone. Because there's something to grind for. There's something on the line. There's stakes. It's a lot of fun, or it can be, at least. That's shocking to me. So if you guys are multiplayer gamers or even ranked gamers, I would strongly recommend you guys go listen to that episode. And it's available for every tier of our patrons. So gold patrons, which is our lowest tier, you guys have that episode, and it is now live, so you can go to the website and check it out. But yeah, I'm shocked at how fun it can be, I should say, because like you said, yeah, the matchmaking I have a couple questions about. And also another thing I'll add before we move on is even after having recorded that episode, we played a couple more times ranked, I feel like I have so much more to say about it that we didn't talk about in that bonus episode that we could do another episode on it. And we might end up doing that. I don't know, but I'm leaning toward wanting to do it. And I'm leaning toward wanting to do it for a Saturday episode. I think that could be cool.
Yeah.
Because I have like so much more to say about ranked now, even after recording that bonus episode. First of all, Hardpoint's the worst fucking game mode in ranked.
Yeah, Hardpoint's not
random.
Fun.
It's actually
so
random.
Bad.
Dude, we lost a game of Hydroelectric that we actually should have won because we don't understand how the spawns work, or because there's no rhyme or reason to how the spawns work. Dude, I'm not going to get into the specifics now, but if we do another episode, I absolutely will regale you guys with the story of how when they have point 2, they spawn on it when they die. But when we have point 2, we spawn 85 meters away for some reason. I don't understand it. Makes no sense. Hate it. Hardpoint's awful, trash, dog shit game mode in ranked. Because Activision can't figure out how to make spawns work, I guess.
And a lot of it is map-based. Hydro is the worst one, I think, for that. Hydro Hardpoint is fucking terrible.
Hotel is bad, too. Hotel, I think, is also really bad. One point in particular.
Hotel. I don't remember Hotel being
the
that
point
bad
that's
in
very
general.
close to one of the team's spawns. That point right there, if you hold it, you just respawn on that spawn point.
Yeah, where you spawn outside and you run up that
street.
staircase. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's a miserable point. Because if you hold that point and die, you just spawn on the street. It's so stupid. Or unless it's my team, then I spawn on the opposite side of the map. But if it's their team and I kill them, they spawn on the street and just run right back into it. It doesn't make sense. Fuck Hardpoint. But there are other things. Again, there's a lot more I could say as well. Learning a lot already about how to be a good ranked player because I've been getting farmed by certain strategies that I didn't think about or notice until I played enough ranked to start to see what's going on there. Like, oh, okay, this is a smart strategy that I'm not using at all. And that's why I'm getting fucking farmed, is because this person's more experienced than I am and they're doing this thing. So yeah, we'll probably end up doing another episode on that, especially if we continue to play more ranked, which I think we probably will. But anyway, yeah, that episode is live, and I really enjoyed that. I think this month's Patreon episodes for February were super fucking strong.
Yeah.
So if you were considering joining the Patreon, now's a great time to do it. You get access to every past bonus episode. So anyway, if you're listening to the jingle, here it is.
Oh, wow, actually got me that time. That sucks.
Got him.
I was full on recline too.
Yeah, I could hear you were stretching.
Nice little stretch.
Everything on Fortress is one-sided. It's a good map that they ruin with bad spawns and
Fortress
bad,
search. What a
placements.
joke! The attackers spawn closer to the one bomb site than the defenders do. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
All right, boys and girls, welcome. Episode 307. So, as I said in the beginning of this episode, we have a lot of different topics to cover today. Section 1 is patch notes changes already in effect. Section 2 is news and upcoming changes. And there's just a lot of shit in a lot of different arenas we're going to talk about today. So starting here, iDub made a tweet yesterday about the playlists. This week, the current week, Shoot the Ship is back, Infected, Gun Game, and Dome 24/7. Shoot the Ship is back. That's the only important thing there. And then this week in Warzone, regular BR, quads, trios, duos, solos. There is mini royale trios, which is on Al Mazrah. I think we've gotten mini royale once. Is that correct?
I don't know if I honestly don't know.
I don't know if we
haven't played it on Al Mazrah
it.
because I've never liked the mode. Yeah, it never played well before, so I doubt it plays well in this either. But
I think it would play fucking miserably. because endgame of Al Mazrah normal games
Already
is
has 40
insane,
players, yeah.
and everyone's alive. So now it's going to be just even more people alive in a small circle. It would be fucking insane. Probably too insane and miserable. And I think it would be very similar to Verdansk Mini Royale, meaning you either are going to get your loadout in the top 10% of teams in terms of speed, or you're not winning that game.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get your loadout right away, or you won't win. You're going to die to someone who has loadout.
Yeah.
That's probably even worse. Almost certainly even worse, actually, in Mini Royale. So that's probably miserable. I don't know if we've gotten Mini Royale before, but yeah, we have not and will not be playing it. Fuck Mini Royale. So anyway. And then in Resurgence, quads, trios, duos, and solos. Psych. Just kidding. The new game mode still doesn't have... The new map still doesn't have all the modes. It's only quads and duos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, that's all everyone's been saying. Like, why do we not have all modes? What are we doing? Yeah,
I don't get it.
They're out of their mind.
They are outside of their little minds.
They really would be better off taking like one mode away from regular BR. Take away duos or trios or something. Yeah. Trios is the best, but that one I feel like would kind of make sense to take away. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it never will. So.
Yeah, I don't understand their reasoning there, but okay, whatever. Anyway, that's what you have to put up with. Thanks, Infinity Ward. Another tweet. This was getting a lot of like flack on the timeline, and I don't understand why. We've also introduced some moderate changes to DMZ AI damage across Al Mazrah and Ashika Island. To clarify, these changes reduce AI lethality across Al Mazrah and Ashika Island in DMZ specifically. To me, it's kind of like the perks in multiplayer, which we're going to get into, which is they keep lessening and lessening and lessening the impact of the perk system where there's the charge up time or the damage of the AI so much that at some point you have to ask, why are we still even doing it at all? How many times has the AI been nerfed in DMZ and Warzone? Like actually 5, 6 separate occasions where they've said, oh, we're reducing the damage AI does. If you're going to make them do 1 damage per bullet, let's just remove them then.
Well, no, it was bugged again this season, I'm pretty sure. That's what they're talking about. They said they made them easier at the start of the season, and it's been bugged the entire season. Like they've been harder again, like they've done every time they've changed it. So I think they're just fixing them again. That's what I thought.
I feel like they would have stated it by saying, we've addressed a bug. But it is Infinity Ward, the most unclear development studio or company to ever communicate with another person ever. So maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't recall hearing about that bug though.
Well, I don't think well, it's because DMZ
maybe they didn't say anything about it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
That's what I thought it was, but I don't know.
Again, we haven't played DMZ much yet. We intend to, hopefully this month. But I think this is probably fun. I don't know. I just hate the AI. But if it's anywhere, it should be in DMZ, I guess. Anyway, whatever. So there you go. Next tweet is from some guy named Lawrence Metton. So if you did listen to that Patreon episode we did on ranked play, you will have already heard this. But this dude tweeted out a few days ago about how the SR gains and losses work in ranked play, in multiplayer. He is the lead game designer for Treyarch. And he tweeted a big ass thread about SR in ranked play in multiplayer. So what had happened is, well, I'll tell you, this is going to be an abbreviated version of what we talked about on Patreon. But basically, Tanner and I were playing ranked play our first day. And there were multiple games where I had more score than Tanner, more kills, more bomb plants, and fewer deaths. And then we won the game, and I gained like 130 SR, and Tanner gained like 180. Even though by every metric, I did better than him. So we were like, what the fuck's going on here? Thought it might be bugged or something. We were laughing about it. And then this tweet thread came out the next day, and it clarified why that could be happening. And it actually makes sense based on what they're doing. And I'm not going to read the whole thread, but you can at Lawrence Metten, LAWRENCEMETTEN. Basically, there's a hidden MMR that each player has, and then there's your skill rating. And your hidden MMR is determined by who the fuck knows what. But if you're hidden, when you win a game, you will gain more SR depending on how far you are from your hidden MMR rating. So what was happening is Tanner's hidden MMR value, for example, is 7,000. But my hidden MMR value is 6,000. And that's why he was gaining more SR than I was, even though I was outperforming him, because he's farther from his MMR, because the game thinks he's better than I am, which is obviously false, and it's a bad system. But that does explain why those SR discrepancies happen. It has a lot more to do with your hidden MMR and a lot less to do with your individual performance in that match. Now, obviously, you still want to do well in a match because that'll also raise your hidden MMR, allowing for a higher ceiling on how much SR you can win in the next game. So it's still important to do well, of course. But if you've noticed that with your friends, that's why that is happening.
Yeah.
And then once you get to about where your hidden MMR is, you will notice you're gaining and losing, depending on if you win or lose the match, about the same amount for each one, which is how you would think a ranked system would work from the get-go, but not in this case. And so that is that. We talked about this a lot more, and we gave our thoughts on it in that Patreon episode, so I'm not going to go into that too much more, like our opinions and everything, but I still wanted to inform everyone that's how it works.
Yeah.
So if that was confusing for you, now you know.
And then he also confirmed in that thread that earlier on in ranked play, the lower skill divisions, you're earning more points based off of your own personal performance as well. And then once you get to the higher divisions, it's more based off of just like wins and team play, because they want people to focus on team play basically instead of just top fragging and not playing the objective and shit like that. So that changes once you get to a certain skill division. Like my skill rating, I'm already slowing down a lot. Not like a lot, but like in games where, I was getting some insane games early on where I was getting like 150 plus SR. Now when I win and do well, I'm only getting like 80 or 90 already. And I'm only like gold 2 right now, I think. I don't know. Yeah. So. Yeah. Which I kind of like, by the way. The higher your like skill division, the less personal performance should matter, because that's when like some intangibles will come into play. And you could be the guy who's like controlling the spawns, for example, and that's not going to show up in the stats, and even the algorithm wouldn't be able to figure that out. But if that could also be contributing tremendously to the fact that your team won. So it should matter way more whether your team wins or loses than your personal performance on like paper for your SR gains and losses. I think that's probably smart if it's working as intended. And since it's Treyarch's system, I think it probably is. Yeah. So shout out to this guy for explaining all of this, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Lawrence.
If this was designed by Infinity Ward, no one would have any clue. People would be wondering, because that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, this has to be bugged. There's no way this is just a bug. And then the next morning, he had that whole thread out explaining how it worked, because obviously they've been getting that question. So shout out to him for communicating. That's good. Because also they'll be the team leading Warzone ranked, I'm sure. So that's good. That we'll get a lot of transparency when it comes to Warzone ranked, I would imagine. Unless Joe Seacott blows their brains out if they decide to tweet and communicate, which is entirely possible for sure. But yeah. So shout out to that guy for explaining all this. That's cool that he did that.
Yeah, true. That I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is an example of like good practice as a developer. Mm-hmm. Like some system you have, like even if it's a good system, which I would argue for the most part the ranked system is, if there's something unclear, just explain it and then I'll be happy with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was mad I wasn't gaining as much SR even though I was doing better in a match. Now I understand why it works that way. And whether or not I agreed with how the system functions, I would be way less mad, because I'd be like, okay, well, at least I know what's happening.
Yep, you understand.
But in this case, I also happen to agree with the system, at least in that aspect. So yeah, shout out to Lawrence. It's crazy how much just telling people about your product goes for like customer satisfaction. It's actually insane. So shout out to Lawrence Menton and Treyarch. Anyways, moving on. Next, Raven has also tweeted, the Data Heist public event is now live on Ashika Island. So for those of you who don't remember, they said this was coming mid-season. It is now here. This is the second of the 3 new things that we will be getting on Ashika Island. The first of which was the new contract, Search and Seizure, where you pick up a contract and then it creates AI on the map and a car that you have to go steal or whatever. Cringe, never done it, never will do it. Take AI out of the game. But they added that. And then this is number 2, of course, the Data Heist public event. Number 3 will be the redeploy drones, which are a reskinned redeploy balloon. We have not gotten that yet. But the Data Heist public event, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but every game on Ashika Island at a time, the event will happen. And I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed to happen every single match. And you can go to one of 3 or one of 5 uplink nodes, and then you like cap it or something, and this also creates AI. So this is now live. I have not played Ashika Island post this event, but I would be shocked if it was being received well. Have you heard anything about it on the TL?
No, not really. I haven't heard a lot of complaining though, which is, I guess it's probably shocking. Just because people are used to having AI in Al Mazrah, so it's like they're so numb to it now. Yeah, I don't know if this happens every match. I don't know. Has anyone in chat, could you confirm that? Because usually the public events often are, not a guaranteed public event. I don't know if they ever said that though.
What they became guaranteed later on in like Warzone 1.
Yeah.
They used to not be, and then like in the Ted Timmy Timmons era, they did become guaranteed. You were guaranteed to get 2 public events per match on Caldera, in fact. One was right when the plane dropped. There would either be the cash crates or the like big weapon crates. Yeah. That was guaranteed public event number 1. And then guaranteed public event number 2 was 4th circle. It would either be a restock where all the boxes would refill, or a fire sale.
Or jailbreak.
So there were 2 public events, or a jailbreak, yes. So there were 2 public events guaranteed in every single match. So I don't know if it is guaranteed. I think I remember it being guaranteed, though.
Yeah, I just checked the patch notes and it didn't say, so I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so according to this article, it says the public event takes place in every match and starts during the 2nd circle collapse.
All right, fun. Cool.
And it's 3 uplink stations. So,
cool. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is everyone.
There's multiple AI in every match now, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we'll be playing Ashika again at some point. We'll give you guys our thoughts once we play it, but it's not good. I mean, this isn't going to make Ashika more fun.
No.
There's no way.
Yeah, it won't do anything good for the game, so that's super dope.
If Ashika is more fun the next time we play it, it will be because they fixed the circles and the buy stations, and then this is just a counterbalance to the good they've added.
Yeah.
It's not going to be because of this event. This is bad. I don't need to play to tell you that. And best case scenario, I don't notice it, which is what happened with the search and seizure contracts, actually.
Yeah.
But it didn't improve my experience because AI doesn't belong in Warzone. So cool. But anyway, yeah, that's live now. So there you guys go. Next, we got a couple other little patch notes here. I think we got a couple of patch notes in the last week, little baby patches.
March 2nd is all just bug fixes, nothing interesting there. I guess it's
March
February 24th.
Yeah, February 24th, we got a little patch. So these are a couple of good changes, I think. So there were some bug fixes, blah, 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 whatever. Some further weapon adjustments on the 24th. The RPK. Increased stomach and upper torso damage. Just kidding. Increased initial bullet vertical recoil. Increased horizontal recoil. And reduced damage ranges. Okay. So of those three things, we got no actual value. I don't know what reduced damage ranges really means. I don't know by how much the recoil increased, but it does seem to be the consensus now that the RPK is no longer king, which I will take.
I don't know. Every death yesterday was to an RPK still, so it certainly doesn't seem that way. But it's still just because all the ARs fucking suck. They're all so bad. We were talking about that yesterday when we were playing. The game actually feels worse now because now every gun just feels too bad, and you don't have snipers that one shot anymore either. So it's like the RAL definitely has too much recoil now. I was using the RAP, which was like, I don't know, bunch of hit markers, not that powerful. I was using the Hemlock. It's just nothing feels good anymore. I don't know. And the LMGs are still so much better than all the ARs, even with this change. They're so much better. There's still zero reason to run an AR. It's super
I think the Seiken is probably the best.
This is for Mazra, by the way. I'm talking about Mazra. I know
for Mazra.
On the island, the AR makes sense, but for Mazra, they don't make sense.
Yeah. From what I've played post these changes, I like the Seiken the best. I think it's the best kind of option right now, but that's not good because all the ARs are bad, and we need AR. I'm fine with LMGs being in the meta. I don't want them to be the only thing in the meta, though. And it really does seem that way on El Mazra, unfortunately. But at least it's not the RPK. I don't know. So anyway, whatever. It got nerfed more. That's good. The Cast-Off 762 reduced damage ranges as well. Not sure that was necessary, but okay. Nerfing that
maybe because the first damage range, I think, was still really good on that gun. Meaning it was still good on Ashika, so maybe it's a little bit worse now, but it's like, these damage ranges could be a 1 meter difference. Nothing
Who knows?
You're ever going
to
determine. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. And now this is a very interesting patch note, which explains so much. ISO Hemlock fixed an issue causing 300 blackout ammo to register as hit scan. Hit scan meaning there's no bullet travel time, so your velocity doesn't matter. If I'm pointing at you and I shoot a bullet, the bullet instantly does damage. That's what hit scan means. Do you guys remember when I said multiple times, I didn't notice not having velocity on the Hemlock, and I'm tempted to not use high velocity rounds anymore because they don't seem necessary because I wasn't using them on the Hemlock and I was still not noticing any bad hit reg? This must be why, because it was hit scan.
No. It was an entirely different ammo type. I'm almost positive because I was looking at that yesterday. It was you can either select high velocity rounds or the 300 blackout ammo. I think True Game Data had talked about it at some point, but it's like it wasn't important because no one was running it because there was some major downside to it as well. Like it like destroys your damage ranges or damage, so no one was running it. But it was registering as hit scan, I guess, since the update.
What if you're using no ammo attachment?
It's a different caliber. It's not 300 blackout, I don't believe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder, because the velocity on that gun is bad.
Open up your game right now and check. See what it says.
And I didn't notice. Yeah, I could do that, actually.
You had to use blackout. Yeah, that's what someone in chat's saying, and that's what I thought it was. I think there may be 2 different types of 300 blackout ammo when you go to the selection.
Huh. Yeah, I'll check right now. Maybe that is true.
Yeah, I think it is.
If the default ammo is 300 blackout ammo, then that would explain why I didn't feel like I needed high velocity rounds. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's...
Actually,
maybe
we
that's
can
not true.
just check Let me see. It was on True Game Data, I know, because it said one of the things showed up as like.
I'm loading in right now.
Okay.
But yeah, you can check there too.
What is it called? The ISO Hemlock.
The ISO Hemlock.
Assault rifle. It was, let's see, attachments.
Oh, update requires restart. Glorious. I mean, I played fucking 2 days ago, but
yeah, it's a specific ammo type. Yeah, it was giving plus 7,000 velocity, so it killed your fire rate. That's one thing.
Oh yeah, that's
but maybe that
good.
was it. It just hurt your fire rate. I don't know. Yeah, default I think is 5.56. Yeah, so it was an ammo type, so it wasn't the build you were running.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then that's weird. I don't know, but anyway, whatever. At least an RPK nerf I'll take there, but yeah, the other. And fixing hit scan's good, I guess. But I don't know. It's sad that the Kastov 762 got nerfed again. So next change, the Fennec reduced FAR damage and reduced damage against armor. And they actually give context on this, which is insane. Requires 2 additional bullets to break 3 armor plates.
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken,
seems pretty big.
The Fennec is pretty much done for. It is definitely no longer the meta. I've
been seeing a lot of MP5s now.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot worse now. Yep. It's like at its closest damage range, it's like kills about 100 milliseconds slower than it did before. It has a steep drop off at like 12 meters, and it's really slow. It's very bad now. Yeah. It's probably still insta melts up close just because the time to kill in this game in general. This is still a fast killing SMG by Call of Duty, by Warzone standards from what you're used to, but it's a lot worse than it used to be for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because I've been seeing a lot of MP5s and not many Fennecs anymore. So again, it's a start, but we still need just fundamentally different weapon balance up close for all SMGs and pistols. So anyway, whatever. But I'm going to keep going broadside, and they didn't nerf that yet, so that's good. Next is battle rifles. Okay. FTAC Recon increased sprint speed. Lockman 762 was changed. They increased the damage range, and then they like reduced the mobility, basically. Yeah. Which is interesting. I don't know if anyone's using that gun anyway.
No, not at all.
Increased damage range is something to think about. I just wish we got fucking a single goddamn number, but whatever. SO14, I don't care. TAC V, reduced near damage, nerfed hard.
They gutted it and then they nerfed it again. Matter. Why? When no one was running it. They really just have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They have no clue at
like
all.
What? Yeah, okay.
So... By the way, I've confirmed the ISO Hemlock's default round is 5.56. So yeah, that doesn't.
How many 300 ammo types were there? Were there 2, or was it just the 1? Okay.
Yeah, but the default is 5.56. So, and then attachment adjustment to incendiary ammo. Residual incendiary damage will no longer eliminate players, meaning you're not going to get one-shot headshotted to a sniper. That's why they did this. Fixed an issue that prevented residual incendiary damage from being applied to armor. Fixed an issue that allowed snipers to down players, blah, blah, blah. Okay, wait. So residual incendiary damage will no longer eliminate players. So in other words, even with like a shotgun, you can't get that last damage tick with incendiary. Mm-hmm. It has to be with a bullet. That seems to make incendiary way worse for every other gun, which... is fine with me, honestly. I think incendiary rounds are kind of cringe in general, but it does really make them fairly useless for most guns, I would imagine, given their other downsides. And if you can't get the final damage tick to be with fire now, I can't see why I would ever use this. For example, in Vanguard, when I was leveling shotguns or when someone was using a shotgun on me, I would use an incendiary shotgun on some of them. And I would very often like shoot someone, take cover, and then they would die like 500 milliseconds later to fire ticks.
Yeah.
That was the only reason I would run the incendiary rounds, because otherwise I'd have to go shoot them again either way. So what the fuck? Why would I use this attachment ever? Because it's ruining my damage range and my velocity and whatever else. So now you can't even get that, which I guess that's fine. I don't care. I don't like the incendiary mechanic at all. So whatever, but it does seem to make it useless for everything besides snipers as well. But they gutted the sniper, man.
Yeah.
No more one-shot headshots.
Yeah, now Mazer's instantly more boring again because of that. God, what a difference that made in terms of the game being fun. So cool.
Yeah.
Still hopeful at some point they'll make a change. It's just they've never even acknowledged anything with the snipers. That's been like a hot topic since Warzone 2 came out. Should snipers one-shot or not? Should they one-shot at certain ranges? Should they never one-shot? Should all of them one-shot at any range? And I don't think they've ever brought it up. Even like, yeah, we know. We get it. We're looking at ways to balance. So, yeah, the game's instantly just boring again. Because, yeah, like, if you think that was overpowered, you're actually just an idiot. It was less than 900 bullet velocity. People are not hitting their shots on a moving target. You're hitting way more shots and killing way faster with any other LMG that you're using. If you were using a Fennec and an RPK for the last 3 months, you have no room to complain about the one-shot sniper with less bullet velocity than a fucking shotgun, basically, right? So, yeah, just stop. It's stupid.
Yeah, I agree. So I hope they do come back, and not in the form of the incendiary shit. I hope they just make actual thoughtful changes to how snipers work, like, to his credit and to their credit, Raven did in Caldera. I think how the snipers worked toward the end of Caldera made a lot of sense. Big ass heavy fucking snipers can one-shot headshot at any range. The more maneuverable ones can only do it up to X or Y meters, and that can be changed depending on attachments. I thought that was the best compromise. No one's like super happy with it, which I think is probably good. But there's no evidence that that's coming. So as of now, you cannot one-shot headshot anyone with a sniper at any range with any sniper.
Yep.
In Warzone. You can one-shot headshot someone with a double-barrel shotgun, but not with a 50 caliber sniper rifle bullet.
From
traveling at 2,000 meters per second at 1 meter away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
The fact that in Warzone there is no range where you can one-shot them is what doesn't make any sense. I can have the barrel of my MCPR touching your head and it's not going to one-shot. Like, why is that the case? Come on.
It's completely
like
insane.
You could have at least made it an insanely low damage range at one shots like within
meters.
Fucking 10 meters, 20 meters, something. The fact that it doesn't do it at all is like just really
lazy.
I don't know. It's just
classic Infinity Ward laziness. They don't want to think about it, so they just say, let's just make it impossible, whatever. It doesn't need to make any fucking sense. So anyway, I don't know. Hopefully Raven takes over sooner rather than later and we get some thought put into any of these changes. But as of now, no one-shot snipers anymore. So, and then they talked about some playlist updates here, some more bug fixes. Nothing particularly interesting here. No. Yeah. So, that's kind of it. So there you go. Okay. And then there was one more patch on the 2nd of March, today, in fact. Contains fixes for a number of known crashes, which is good. Some collision fixing, some battle pass fixes. I'm looking for anything important here.
There's nothing. Yeah, it's just a few bug fixes.
Yeah, nothing really crazy. Just a couple bug fixes. Reduced scale of AI combatant reinforcements during Data Heist contract on Ashika. Okay, so if you played like a couple days ago and there were too many AI when you did the Data Heist shit, there should be fewer of them now. I'll take it.
True.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, nothing crazy there besides the RPK nerf and the sniper nerf, really. But just to keep you guys updated, there you go. And then IDub also tweeted, we've introduced a temporary fix to address kicked for inactivity messages some players received incorrectly. So some people were active and they got kicked for inactivity anyway. This is fixed.
This was happening in ranked, I guess, too. People were like playing search and stuff, holding an angle for too long, and it was kicking you after like less than a minute.
I see.
This happened to me when I was playing pubs, when I was leveling the Hemlock or something. I was AFK at the start of the match for a little bit, logged back in, selected my class. I was sprinting and I shot my gun, and 10 seconds later it said kicked for inactivity. I'm like, dude, I just shot at a guy. They're like, what is going on?
That happened
here?
to me in MW19 once. Yeah, I was AFK in the beginning. I started moving around shooting people, and then it kicked me. I was like, cool, man. Yeah. So anyway, that shouldn't happen anymore. Hopefully, that's good.
Thankfully, that was it was fixed for ranked play, which I think was the biggest issue it was causing.
Yeah.
Breaking news, Manscaped is now selling beard products. That's right, they've gone from waist to face to help you replace that bulky razor with their brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Manscaped helped get you the golden rod of a Greek god, and now they're the best tools for you to turn heads with a clean, perfectly groomed and conditioned beard. Finally tame your mane by going to manscaped.com using our code DROPSHOT for 20% off plus free shipping. This kit is about to change your life. The Beard Hedger Pro Kit has made it easier than ever to craft your signature look. This kit will take your facial hair anywhere from Gandalf to totally bare. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, it's waterproof. Cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. No more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. You heard that right. No more drawers full of 20 different guards. It's never been so easy to find your signature beard look. Plus, the trimmer has a titanium-coated T-blade that is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency, which you guys need. Satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Pro Kit is so much more than a trimmer, though. It comes with 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. It has the shampoo and conditioner. Your hair is different. Your beard hair is much more coarse and easier to damage. That's why the kit has a shampoo and conditioner specifically designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, and replenish your natural oils, promoting beard health. Next, the kit has Manscaped's Beard Oil. The nutrient-infused oil relieves dryness both in the beard and the skin beneath, while adding a little shimmer and shine to liven up the look. Cap it off with the Beard Balm, a pomade that shapes, styles, and moisturizes, bringing the amazing scent of fresh eucalyptus, rosemary, and lavender essential oils. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with our code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. 20% off free shipping. Go to manscaped.com, use code DROPSHOT. The Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the premier solution to face grooming.
So next here, we've got a couple of hidden patch notes.
Yes, back to the old hidden patch notes, huh, buddy?
Tell us about this next little excursion we're about to take.
Yeah, so Ace put out a video. It is about the perk changes we saw in Season 2. They sped up again the earn rate of the bonus and ultimate perk, so he's talking about that and how kind of that went. So got some data here we could show on screen. So here is the first one. So prior to Season 2, your bonus perk would recharge in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. After Season 2, it now recharges in 1 minute and 46 seconds. And every 10 score you get takes 1 second off that. That was the same pre-patch. That was the same post-patch. So if
you get a kill, it's 10 less seconds.
Yeah. So you're earning your bonus perk in like less than 30 seconds probably.
Actually.
So why just give it to me off the rip so I don't have to reload once without fast hands, you know? So that's a big change. 3 minutes, 30 seconds down to 1 minute, 46 plus the score. And then you're moving on to the ultimate. Before it was a 7-minute charge time, which is insane. 7 minutes. Obviously, it was never taking that long unless you're standing there AFK doing literally nothing because you're getting score. So that's like cut in half probably. And that has gone down to post-patch from 7 minutes down to 5 minutes and 16 seconds. Same thing, 10 score takes off 1 second. And then Ace was nice enough to give us practical charge time. So here's practically, on average, what you should be looking at now. Pre-patch, your bonus perk, so fast hands, whatever you're running, was taking about 1.5 minutes to earn. That is about 45 seconds. Now, that's probably for the average player. If you're good, it's like 30 seconds or less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Ultimate perk has gone from about 2.5 to 3 minutes down to about 2 minutes to earn your ultimate perk now as well. Those are the practical times that he came up with based on the average score that people are earning. So, overall, good changes. It kind of just led him to say at the end, I don't know why we still have the system. No one's happier with this change. There's not a reason to have it. Just give us the normal thing we've had for the last 20 years. We spawn with our perks. It's that simple.
It's so crazy.
There's no earn rate. Classic Infinity Ward trying to reinvent the wheel there.
Yeah, and then just backpedaling until I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they just say, fuck it, you just have all your perks.
I think they will. Yeah, I really do think they will. It's
what
especially
purpose does
annoying
it
in
serve?
ranked when you're like on a hard point with like the Vaznev or something, and that reload is super slow. The Vaznev has the slowest reload in the game of any gun. I swear to God, it reloads slower than an LMG. Holy fuck, the reload speed is so slow to take out this skinny ass SMG magazine and jam a new one in so long. Me having to reload once without fast hands, oh my God, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
And it's especially bad because you just finished the last match where you've been reloading your Vaznev for 30 times with fast hands. So you're already used to that. And then you just like die because you expect to have that speed. And then you don't. And then when you respawn, bonus perk activated.
You can never become accustomed to this system. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
It will just always feel weird until it's constantly the same speed. God, it was such a dumb idea.
Another thing that's silly about this too is how long is the average match of search and destroy? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now think about how long the average match of kill confirmed is. I mean, kill confirmed on like shipment or dome is actually going to be less than half as long as the average search and destroy match. But you earn your perks at the same rate. So if I'm playing kill confirmed, I don't get my ultimate perk until 80% into a match. But if I'm playing search, I get it 20% into a match.
Yeah.
So you can't even, like, there's no way to equalize this. And again, what purpose does it serve? It just doesn't make any sense.
Who are they trying to cater to? I don't.
It's a great question.
I really wonder in their mind if they thought like, oh, this like more skilled players will like this better because they'll earn the bonus and ultimate perks faster for like killing people and getting objectives. But no one likes this. It's not fun for anybody. It's just, it just doesn't make any sense. But I really wonder if that was kind of their thought process. Like, oh, like let's reward players for getting more score and capping like the first objective and getting a kill and this or that. But no one likes the system. Yeah, I can see a total reversion on this coming soon to just we get all of our perks immediately. Even Infinity Ward, Charlie Intel tweeted that out like 2 days ago. They're like, yo, Infinity Ward. So when can we just get all of our perks on launch? Because we're so close at this point, just give us perks. Give us our normal perk packages we've always had.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Whom did they think this was going to help? I guess you're right. It must be like good players, but
they don't want a skill gap. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And Infinity Ward doesn't want a skill gap.
Every other decision caters to casuals. I don't get it. I don't know. Either. Yeah, but even when they try to not cater to casuals, they fuck it up. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So just take out the goddamn timer.
Yep. So
it's really that simple. But anyway, yeah.
And next year we got another video from XclusiveAce on YouTube. He's talking about the high velocity rounds in Modern Warfare 2. So this was a discussion Raz and I had when we were setting up our classes for rank. Because I think you even said, you're like, I don't think high velocity rounds matter. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've seen people say it does make a difference in gunfights, and you may as well because you don't get a lot of attachment choices in ranked anyways. So people kind of generally have like a fifth attachment that they just end up using high velocity on.
Yeah, and to clarify, we're talking about multiplayer. Because using high veloc is really good in Warzone, but we're talking about multiplayer here. Yeah.
So let me get to the image here. So Ace did some lovely testing for us. So he did testing with a TAC 56 build, where he had no barrel, no high velocity rounds. Then he had the barrel and no high velocity rounds. Then he tested with the barrel and high velocity rounds both. So the lowest attack 56, the lowest velocity it had was 590 meters per second. With the barrel, the total was 664. With both the high velocity rounds and the barrel, you're at about 950 velocity. So he tested at 20, 40, 60, and 80 meters to see how long it's taking that bullet to hit the target, essentially. and to see if it's worth it. So 80 meters already, I can tell you right there, you're never having an 80 meter engagement in ranked play. So if we're talking about ranked play, that doesn't matter. Even 60 meters, you don't have 60 meter engagements really, but 80 like actually almost isn't possible in all these maps they play. So what he found out is they're essentially not worth running. It is a very minimal difference. Like at 40 meters, the time your round without the barrel and without high velocity rounds, the time it takes to hit the target at 40 meters is exactly the same as if you were running high velocity rounds and the barrel, meaning it's pretty much a waste of an attachment. Because every engagement, especially in ranked play, you're sub 40 meters, like always.
Yeah.
There are not big maps that have line of sights. So it's pretty much not worth running these. So he recommended for his build, he took off the high velocity rounds and put on the FSS shark fin, because that gives you aiming stability and it has no downsides. And aiming stability does help with recoil since there's less sway between shots. And he showed the recoil patterns. So that's what he changed his build to. And I'm going to change my ranked play builds now because of this. So yeah, there's very minimal differences. At like 20 meters, the barrel and high velocity rounds make a 5 millisecond difference. Is it 5? Yeah, I guess it's just 5, which is nothing. I mean, that's absolutely nothing. You'd never, of course, be able there. You can't have that reaction speed. You would never tell a difference anyways. So yeah, if you're running these rounds, don't. Now, I kind of had one thought that I feel like high velocity rounds may benefit controller players more. Because if you think, if someone's like 30 meters away running left to right and your aim assist kicks in, the aim assist is not leading the person. If anything, it's like on their back side of their chest. So I feel like at that point, that's when you will see a difference in high velocity rounds, which he didn't do any testing on, of course. That's kind of hard to test. Because there's some clips that I've seen where people like, if I had high velocity rounds, I hit these bullets. And it was on Fortress by the statue. Someone's jumping off that second floor. Aim assist is tracking, of course, but the guy's falling down to his left, so he's midair. And the aim assist is like just on the right side of the guy's torso, so none of the bullets hit. None of them hit at all. So maybe if you have high velocity rounds there, that may make a difference in some of those rounds hitting possibly when it's that close to the edge of their body. Maybe you'll see a difference. But on like K-BAM, when you're used to leading targets, if anything, I'm shooting in front of people, not behind people almost always. This makes it seem entirely useless. So yeah, he recommended for ranked play especially. Doesn't recommend the rounds. It makes sense for like Invasion, Ground War. If anyone out there is playing that, you're probably not. But other than that, he recommends removing the rounds entirely, pretty much.
Yeah, I would say if you are on a performance-enhancing device, a PED, then I would try dropping it for a couple matches and see if you notice. Because that is interesting. But, I mean, like at 30 meters, the reg difference is 5 milliseconds. Like, that is imperceptibly few milliseconds. Like that's really, really not going to be noticeable. So, but yeah, you might be right. I would say try it without it. And then if you notice you're not getting as good of reg as you want, go back. But I remember a conversation that happened a long time ago at launch before ranked was out, obviously. And people were running in scrims high velocity rounds just so that they could tune it to damage range.
Yeah, that's true.
Did he talk about this at all?
I don't know if he did, actually. I didn't watch the entire video, like every second of it, so he may have mentioned that, but you're right, that was not brought up from what I watched.
So the only reason I could see where high velocity is still worth it is if that damage range weapon tuning can actually add 5 meters of
and it wouldn't
range.
do that much. If anything, it's probably adding from tuning. It's probably adding at the most 1 meter, I bet. So it's probably
if it's only like 1 meter, then it would still not be worth it overall. I think if it's adding like 3, then it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think tuning is that impactful for the damage range.
Yeah, I have no idea either. But that would be the only, given this information, the only reason I would still run high velocity is to get damage range. But then even then, I might just rather have better recoil control.
And that's what I've been feeling. The more we've played, the more I felt that way about my tack. Is I'm like, at these like 40 meter distances, against a PED, I'm missing one bullet, and that ends up being the difference between them killing me and me killing them. And they always have better recoil control with these. So I've been thinking that too. And the shark fin, again, doesn't hurt you at all, but it doesn't give you much of a benefit. But I think that's about what you need, because I don't want worse ADS. The ADS is already not great on attack as it is for most of the builds that people run. So yeah, I think I'm the same way pretty much.
Yeah.
A little bit better recoil control is worth it.
Yeah. So we will provide the links to both of those videos in the description / show notes if you guys want to check them out. Shout out to XclusiveAce. But yeah, that's something to consider. Try dropping them and just see how it feels. If it also feels like you're taking more bullets to kill a lot of times, then maybe the damage range is doing more than we think, and maybe you want to go back and tune for that again. So anyway, there you go. All right, moving on. We got a Bloomberg article. Oh no, is this our boy Jason J. Schreier?
This is the article, yeah.
Uh-oh.
This was the talk. This was the talk last week. Did we cover this?
We sort of
because the pods were
but
Wednesday,
I think this is a
Friday,
new article.
So no, yeah.
Yeah.
This
is a paywalled article, by the way. So you have to put another period after com, and then it unlocks it. There's a pro tip for you guys.
Fine.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's because do you look at Bloomberg or something sometimes?
No, but
sometimes they give you like a limit. Yeah, I have it open.
Yeah. Anyway, well, okay, good.
All right, yeah. So Jason Schreier, he wrote an article. I'm probably just going to read most of it. So Activision's Call of Duty game this year is more Modern Warfare, is what it's titled. That was we talked about that. I guess it was probably last Wednesday. I guess the day before this article came out, we kind of covered it. There was not supposed to be a full release this year. Basically, now it is a full release, and here he has more to say about it. So Activision's Call of Duty installment for this year will be a continuation of 2022's Modern Warfare 2, a surprising twist in the lucrative video game franchise for decades that it has released a completely new game every fall. Activision's goal for the new Call of Duty to feel like a standalone, full-price release and also an extension of MW2, said people familiar with the project. The current plan is for the game to carry over maps and modes from last year's shooter, the people said, although they cautioned that plans may change between now and the release this fall. Activision has made several changes to the schedule after the 2021 entry in the series failed to meet expectations. That's, of course, Vanguard, leading some executives to believe they were introducing new versions too rapidly. Interesting, yeah, you think? Call of Duty has generated more than $31 billion in revenue, developed a stable of Activision-owned game, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. Early 2022, the company decided to delay the next big Treyarch game, pushing its release from 2023 to 24, which we talked about last year, of course, and marking the first time in nearly 2 decades the franchise would be without a new mainline game. Activision then told Sledgehammer that it would develop a premium expansion for MW2 to help fill the gap. Modern Warfare 2, which was released in October, became the best-selling video game in 2022. Don't care. The expansion was planned to be with a single-player campaign and several multiplayer maps, and eventually it morphed into a full game release. Sledgehammer's new MW game, the name is still unclear, but it'll probably not be Modern Warfare 3, is now slated for the fall. The people said declined to be named, blah, blah.
He said it's probably not named MW3?
It's probably not named MW3.
Interesting. Okay.
Activision spokesperson Neil Wood noted the company has announced that a premium Call of Duty game will arrive this year, and they have nothing new to share. This is interesting. Some current and former employees of Sledgehammer Games are worried about the schedule, which has given the company less than 2 years to develop the game. No shit. Wow, crazy. A similar schedule for the studio's previous game, 2021's Call of Duty Vanguard, led to a difficult period of overtime. Oh no, for some staff, don't care. That game didn't perform well as Activision has anticipated, and received generally negative reviews. Really? A World War II game received negative reviews. That's interesting.
Shocking.
That's crazy. This time around, some developers say they're more optimistic because they are receiving more support from other Activision studios, including Treyarch Infinity Ward, whose leadership, is also supervising the new game. So Joe Seacott also has his hands in this next game. That'll be fun.
God damn it.
At one point, Activision executives were briefing staff on a brand new vision for Call of Duty, in which the series would switch between MW and Black Ops games, each receiving 2 years of support. But any long-term plans at Activision remain hazy and tentative as the company waits to finalize its acquisition by Microsoft Corporation. Wow.
Yeah.
And that the Sledgehammer thing was exactly what I had said before that article came out. which I said to you, even if you're excited for this upcoming game, don't be, because it's going to be another disaster again. It will not be a full release. It was supposed to be an expansion. It will be a disaster. I guess like it coming from the maps and shit will make a difference. If all that stuff carries over, then it will just feel like an expansion and it'll be fine. But if they're changing everything about the game, the way it feels, the way it plays, and you were basically just getting the maps, it won't be a good game this year at all. There's not much to look forward to, and you may as well start looking forward to Treyarch's game in 2024, in which they actually had development time. More development time than usual to design it.
Yeah, I think that analysis is pretty spot on. There are basically two options for this year's premium release, and they are as follows. If it is actually just a glorified expansion pack that they're selling for $70, meaning it's the same engine and the same client and all of that, so they don't have to do any of that groundwork again, then it's probably going to be fine, because it will behave the same way as MW2 does right now, because it will be the same game, and all it's going to really be is, again, a glorified expansion. The same engine, same game. It's just going to be a ton of maps, a ton of new guns, a ton of new campaign missions, and they're going to sell it for $70 and market it that way. If that's the case, it has the potential to be actually very fun, although it won't be new. It won't feel new. I would prefer this because MW2's engine, like the bare bones of it, feels pretty fucking good. And if we actually had way better maps, better weapon balance, a new camo to grind for, good ground war maps even, then that would be fantastic. And it wouldn't be sufficient to call that a new release and sell it for $70, but they'll do that anyway. But that would be better than option 2, the alternative, which is that it is a new engine made by Sledgehammer, in which case it will have been massively rushed, and we will have a Cold War experience again, where the game releases totally not ready to be released because they did not give the devs enough time, and it will be a fucking disaster. It will be a nightmare, and that it'll be an unpolished, unfinished, buggy, extra buggy, even by COD standards buggy, release of a game. So on the one hand, they're going to try to sell you a new product for $70, and it will be unfinished because they didn't give the devs enough time. That's not good. On the other hand, they're going to give you a glorified expansion pack that they shouldn't really be selling as a new game because it really isn't, but at least it'll be polished and finished when we get it. So either option's not ideal, but definitely the glorified expansion pack is the better scenario, which is what I predicted when we first heard about this 2 weeks ago or whatever. And which is what, again, I'm hoping for. Because there's a lot of potential there, because I'm fine with the new engine. It would be a ripoff, but if we got a bunch of new maps and they were actually good, new weapons, a new camo to grind for, new campaign missions, I'll take it. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yep.
It would be better than the alternative, because like Tanner just said, if we get like a new Sledgehammer game, they just did Vanguard. Like, there's no way there was enough time. It would be really dog shit, really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Worse than Cold War, actually, because Sledgehammer is, I think, an even smaller studio than Treyarch.
Oh, God.
So I think it would be even more perilous of a launch than Cold War was, which is saying a lot, because that game did not launch in a launchable state.
Cold War launched as a pre-alpha build.
Yeah, it was likewise not given enough dev time.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning toward it being a glorified expansion also. I think that's what they're going to do. I'm hoping they learned their lesson from Cold War. And that's why they pushed Treyarch back and initially didn't want to release a game at all this year.
Yeah.
So it seems like, at least in some capacity, they have learned their lesson of not rushing their dev teams. And if they truly learned that lesson, that's going to mean we're getting a glorified X-Pack, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. No terrible surprises there.
Yeah. Next thing, moving on here from Charlie Intel. Call Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on PC has several hacks and exploits, including a current hack that lets cheaters reveal your IP address, corrupt your game data, and even crash your PC.
That's crazy, crashing your PC.
Yeah, so Neil Wood, a spokesperson for Activision and Treyarch, the studio that developed the game, sent the following statement. Black Ops 3 was published in 2015, and we are committed in continuing to support this title 8 years following its original release. We are aware of a technical issue on the Steam version of Black Ops 3 and are scheduled to deploy an update this week. We thank our community for their continued support. And this is the issue when people play these old games on PC now. These and like when they do like those little, like those mods they've made for those games, like the little, they're for some reason
like add the server.
I don't know what's with the COD community of all games, but yeah, it's just like you get hacked when you play it, and like they recommend just don't even launch this game ever. Don't install it. You can get hacked. It's so crazy. And it's always the old Call of Duty games for some reason.
Yeah, and that's been true for years. That I've known to not play old CODs with like server browsers and shit for years now. Like Nate Gibson talks about it all the time. TGD, Syrian. They used to always be like, holy shit, I tried playing BO2 and like my first game on, like there was some guy Skyping me and showing me my own webcam and, you know, extorting me for my bank account details or something like that. This has been happening for a long fucking time. It is weird. I don't know why. I am a little surprised that the Steam version would have this issue though. If anything, the Steam version I think would be more secure, but I guess not. Yeah,
no, I don't know. That's what I thought too. I would think it'd be more like where games didn't have a launcher. Like back in the day, you just downloaded the game and launched the game. But yeah, it actually may be easier when there's a launcher like Steam to hack into all that shit.
I guess yeah, that's weird. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, in case any of you are playing fucking BO3 on Steam, maybe wait till next week, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait it out for sure.
Anyway, a couple other things here. Charlie Intel tweeted this yesterday. A Treyarch job listing on their website appears to reveal Outbreak mode is still in development for Call of Duty. So they show a screenshot of the Treyarch job listing page on their website, and it's looking for a senior level designer Warzone for Treyarch. That is the job title. And in the description, part of it is, you will work on production content for Warzone, Outbreak, and other large map experiences. For those of you who don't remember, Outbreak was the experimental new zombies game mode that launched in Cold War, Call of Duty Cold War. So, which was one of the better received elements of that game was its zombies. I think its classic zombies experience was the crowning jewel of Cold War. It was by far the best and most well-received game mode of all of Cold War. Outbreak, less so, but I think it was still a cool idea. It was decent, and I liked that they kind of were getting... That's how you correctly, by the way, get crazy. So Infinity Ward gets crazy by completely revamping core gameplay mechanics in the one core game mode, Warzone. What you should do is what Treyarch did, which is where they said, okay, in Cold War, we're going to have the regular ass zombies you know and love, and then we're going to get crazy in this side mode called Outbreak. And if you don't like it, that's cool, man. At least we tried something innovative, and you can just go back to play classic ass zombies, which you all know and love. That's how you get crazy, and that's how you innovate as a COD dev, by the way. Not, oh, there's only 2v2 Gulag, and there's a jailer now, for example. And there's no option to go back. You have to wait for us to figure it out. That's how you get crazy correctly. But anyways, that is what Outbreak was. It was that weird zombies mode where you were on a giant ass map and you took fucking teleporters, and it was like different rounds and they got like harder, but you're still on the same map. It was interesting. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. But the point here is that since the job listing says senior level designers will be making content for Outbreak, implies Outbreak or zombies or something is in the works for probably COD 2024, Treyarch's next title.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising to me because Outbreak was not popular. I don't think. Every Zombies player I knew or saw said it was kind of mid at best. So I'm surprised they're going to be making it again. But maybe they're making it and it'll be good.
Yeah, people like the idea. It was just missing something. It didn't have the same rush of zombies. It like often it was either it was like too easy where you'd be like running around the little open world maps and then there'd be like no zombies. So it's like, what am I playing? Am I just playing a dead multiplayer match or like where are all the zombies at? So that got kind of unfun. But yeah, I think zombies players in general, they're not going to want change. They're going to want just the classic normal round-based zombies we've always had. So hopefully we just get that classic mode again and then Outbreak on top of it and they expand on Outbreak. Which I think we would. Because Outbreak, I think, could be the future of zombies. It's just missing so much. It was so boring, I thought. Very boring.
Yeah, I agree. It could be. So that's cool. And at the very least, that confirms we're getting zombies in Treyarch's next game. Which is no great surprise, by the way, but...
Know what they could do, which I can actually see happening now that I think about it. This job title is for Warzone, and they talk about work on production for Warzone, Outbreak, and other large map experiences. I feel like Outbreak, since Treyarch is designing the Warzone map for 2024, allegedly, those have been the rumors for months now, maybe we just see Zombies Outbreak on the Warzone map, which would be really cool. That could make it, I think, fun if it's one large map. Because that was the other weird thing with Outbreak. It did take like fucking portals to go to the other areas. If it was just actually one massive map and the world felt as if you would think like a zombie world would feel, like downtown is filled with zombies, way harder to fight. Maybe there's, missions that give you better rewards if you go there though. The outskirts are full of shitter zombies, easier to kill, less of them. But like in the cities are just insanely large hordes of them. That would be really fun. That would be really, really cool. So I can see something like that happening too.
It would also be cool for Outbreak. System. I agree with you, yes. I think would be really cool is Outbreak is a BR, except it's PvE. It's a PvE BR where you're in a plane, you drop out based on where the circle is, and it plays very similar to Warzone, except instead of other players, it's just zombies everywhere. Yeah. But the circle still closes and shit. So then you can win or lose a game of Outbreak. And then, I don't know, you could scale the difficulty by adding in like the little challenges like they kind of had. Like you could go to that little jukebox and spend 5K and there's like the trial. You could have like Outbreak trials where, okay, if I'm really good and like just playing normal is too easy and I win every time, I could go to the trial machine and try Giga Trial Nightmare status. And then it's like really fucking hard. It would be equivalent to like a zombies round like 60. But if I survive it, I get like specialist. And then it makes finishing that match way easier. And then I get way more Aetherium crystals at the end of that game. That has a lot of potential. That sounds really fucking fun.
I don't think it'd be that. I think if anything, it would just be like... I don't
think it would be. I think it would be cool.
It would just be like DMZ reskinned.
Yeah.
With zombies, PvE, VP, however the fuck you say that. PvE and PvP. With other teams in there doing like different missions and shit. That's probably what they will end up doing on like a large Warzone map. That would be cool. That would play, in my opinion, I would immediately be way more interested in that. Just if the AI acts as zombies instead of AI that shoots you from 50 meters away.
Yeah.
Just that is so much more fun to me.
That does seem to be the most likely since we already have it.
Yeah. We
already have PvPvE right now in Warzone. So that does seem more likely. Yeah. So which would be cool, because if they only melee you. But a lot of the zombies shot you, actually. So, we'll see.
Shot you? With what? I mean, they're like the boss zombies where they would fire stuff at you?
Yeah,
but even then, it was from like 10 meters away. It's not like DMZ
It was
AI.
certainly better than fucking Alcatala. Yeah, that's undoubtedly true. But anyway, so there you go. Just a little story there. And then this last thing is a Kotaku article. which is both fun and exciting. This is, of course, some more trouble at Activision, a staple on this podcast. The title of this article, which was written on Tuesday, a couple days ago, it was on the 28th of February, is titled, Activision Accused of Illegally Firing QA Testers Over Remote Work Protest. So Tanner and I had talked about this in DMs a couple days ago. I've not read this article yet, but I found it funny that QA, anyone in a QA department in any Activision studio thinks they deserve anything. So I'm against the QA testers on this topic, and I don't know what the topic is about yet. So let's find out. The Communications Workers of America have today filed charges against Activision, claiming the publisher violated several workplace laws in relation to the firing of 2 QA testers. So I don't know what the CWA is, the Communications Workers of America. Is that the new union the QA teams made? Or they got blocked from making that, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think it's Activision themselves. I think it's just like other studios or something.
I'm going to look this up. Communication Workers of America. What is this? It is a union. Huh. Maybe it's not like an Activision specific union.
Yeah,
you're probably right. Okay, so anyway, moving on. The charges are related to Activision's recent decision to begin forcing workers back into the office, which has been met with resistance across the company's workforce. The CWA say that numerous workers protested the return to the office plan, citing the cost of living concerns and the impact it would have on their coworkers who might be forced out of their jobs. 2 QA testers expressed their outrage using strong language. I'm curious what that means.
Yeah, I'd like to see what they said.
Management set up disciplinary meetings where both of the workers who were protesting were fired. The CWA argue that the use of outbursts and strong language... Okay, so they definitely started cussing at their bosses. That has to be what this means.
Yeah,
so the CWA
which you get fired for anywhere in the world is going to fire you for that. Yeah, unions,
I don't care how unjust it feels. You can't be cussing out your boss and expect to have a job. The CWA argue that the use of outbursts and strong language in the context of concerted activity by employees was protected by the National Labor Relations Board until as recently as 2020, before the Trump administration
it's Trump's fault. That's
systematically rolled back workers' rights, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Hell yeah, rolling back.
Activision responded, we don't allow employees to use profane or abusive language against each other, a spokesperson for Activision said. We are disappointed that the CWA advocates this type of behavior. Okay, so a few more details here. The charges have been filed against Activision CEO Bobby Kotick directly and allege that the firings, which took place on February 17th, were made in response to the employees' engagement in protected, concerted, and union activity. The CWA also alleged that Activision improperly denied a request to have a coworker witness the meeting, which preceded the termination of their employment. And then some grandstanding by the CWA. Very interesting. What are your thoughts on this, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, a few things. One, this was all over Twitter. It was like a couple weeks ago, actually. So this lawsuit thing right here itself is new. Whatever they're trying to do here. But first, what we had heard is there was a bunch of Activision employees tweeting shit out. I think in general, this is not the COD studios. I think this was like Blizzard and other studios. But here's the thing. People were someone was hired by Activision Blizzard in Santa Monica, California, right? They lived here, they worked there. Work went remote. So they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna move. So they moved to fucking Florida. The COVID shit's over. So Activision's like, all right, you guys have to come back. And they're like, shocked face. What? I have to go back to work at some point? What? First of all, why are you surprised? Why are you moving away from your office? If I'm sure they never once said, oh, no, you guys never...
Exactly.
Feel free to move across the country. You're never going to have to come back to the office. First of all, you're a fucking moron if you didn't see that coming. I mean, you're brain dead. And you should be fired,
Absolutely.
So you probably deserved it. But
yeah,
that's the thing that I can't get over is why are you moving away from the office and then complaining about it? I get it. I get that you want to move, but hey, don't expect to work for that company anymore when they go back to in-person shit, because it's going to happen eventually. Very few of these jobs are going to be full remote going forward. I can see a lot of them staying that way, like community management. There's no reason to have those people in the office, I would imagine, ever, really. But it's like, if they're going to ask you back in the office, what did you expect? You got hired to work in that office, in that company, however many years ago. You can't just move across the country and expect to never have to go back to work. That's the thing that I just can't understand that none of them ever bring up. It's
and like you said, it's not like Activision was like, oh, you guys are going to be working remote now permanently. Yeah. They never said that. They said for now, because of COVID, you're going to work remote. But it's obviously implied, if not explicitly stated, that eventually you're going to have to come back to the office. So then they made the really stupid decision to move super far away and also expected to keep their jobs. And then here's another stupid thing to do. Start cussing at your bosses.
Yeah.
And expect to keep your job. Even if this was an unfair ask to ask you to come back to the office, which it isn't, by the way, and you QA testers also, I don't know what game they're working for. If they're COD QA testers, they never deserve to be employed in the first place.
No.
Because no quality has ever been assured ever in a COD game in the last 5 years.
They didn't know Ultimate Perks didn't work at Warzone for the first 3 months. Where were they during all that?
So obviously what did they weren't working remote. You were doing something remotely, but it wasn't fucking work. You were embezzling remotely. You weren't working remotely because you would have noticed Bird's Eye was bugged sooner than 3 months after the fucking launch of Warzone 2. Yeah. If this is in fact a couple of QA testers for Call of Duty, which would not surprise me. It's a big entity under Activision Blizzard, but to expect to keep your job after cussing out your bosses, I mean, it's completely insane.
Yep. Not only do Activision devs not play their own game, Activision devs do not deserve basic human rights. That's what I always say.
Certainly not the QA team. That's exactly what I would say. Yeah. So this is fucking insane. I'm rooting for Activision. I hope these people are countersued and they have to pay the legal fees for Activision's considerable legal team, and that they go bankrupt. That's what I hope happens to both of these people. How dare you? The audacity. Yeah, this is insane.
Pretty dumb. Pretty dumb to move across the fucking country. This is an insane lawsuit.
Yeah.
I get it. That sucks for you. You moved and put some roots down, as they say. But hey, you should have thought about that. I mean, they're going to have you go back to the office at some point. That's probably why they don't want to go back to the office, because they've been doing nothing. They've been doing nothing at home. They've been play testing the game, so which they don't. Yeah.
Get
back to the office, you piece of shit.
This is completely
workhorse,
insane,
as they said in this article here.
And if there was QA happening in Call of Duty,
workhorse,
for sure. If there was actually QA happening, also, by the way, then I would maybe be more sympathetic to these people. Like if they were doing better work from home than in the office, okay, sure. But you're not. If you work for COD, you're not doing your job, obviously. You've nothing has been assured in terms of quality ever in the past 4 years for Call of Duty, ever. So that would be insane. But also, like, what kind of precedent does it set where you tell 10 QA testers they have to come back to the office? 2 of them disagree, and they start cussing at the bosses. And then the bosses are like, oh, well, you told me to go fuck myself? You're right. You can just keep working remote.
Oh, shoot. All right, fine. You can work remote, yeah.
What kind of anarchy are you setting the stage for if that's the case? Yeah. You don't have an option but to fire them for gross insubordination at that point. I mean, that's completely insane. There is no job where you can cuss at your boss in a Fortune 500 company and expect to keep your job. You're out of your mind. You're completely out of your mind.
Yeah, they truly are lucky that Bobby didn't just have them killed. I mean, he fired them instead of having them killed. So that was nice of him. You should be thanking him.
Yeah, you should be happy. So, anyways, I thought this was deeply amusing.
Shout out to QA.
Where everyone involved in this lawsuit should be spit on. But fuck Bobby Kotick, fuck these QA testers, fuck the spokesperson, and fuck Kotaku, because I'll say it. I don't know. I have nothing to say. I don't know about Kotaku. I don't care. Anyway, yeah, I just thought that was a funny story. But hopefully Activision wins that lawsuit, actually, because those people are out of their mind.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
I like what this says. When faced with unfair treatment by employers like Activision, workers should have a right to express themselves. Yeah, for sure. Unfair treatment, aka, hey, come back to the place you work at. That's the unfair treatment.
Yeah, that's super unfair.
Pussy. Yeah.
Yeah. There are ways to express disagreement without cussing.
I just don't.
I really want to see exactly what the employees said.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's probably pretty funny. Yeah. Oh, man. If you're a game dev, I'm sorry, but so many of you are just weird. Game dev has a lot of weirdos in it. I don't know.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
A lot of fucking weirdos.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have to learn how to develop games. How much free time does that take? All that free time learning how to be a developer is free time normal people spent like talking to other human beings.
Yeah.
So they have very, very little social interaction by and large. Yeah. So anyway.
Shout out to game devs.
Anyway, yeah, fuck devs also. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. So as I said, this is kind of an all over the place episode. We had a couple interesting things to talk about this week. Reminder, patreon.com/thedropshot, best way to support the show. Our last 3 Patreon episodes were absolutely fire. Once again, I'll remind you all, $5 a month, you get 3 bonus episodes, all COD related. You get every single public episode ad-free and early access as well. It's the best way to support the show. $5 every 30 days for an extra. I mean, how much extra content would that have been for the month of February? 2 hours plus 180 minutes would be what? 240 minutes? How many hours is that? It's like 4 hours.
I mean, I think every episode we did was at least pretty much an hour and a half.
Yeah. That's like 4 hours of bonus content for $5. That's pretty good if you like the podcast.
We're giving you too much. Yeah.
Frankly, we are. The value is insane. It's the best way to support the show. And then again, you get the public eps ad-free and you get them early. So if you want to support the show, that's the best way to do it. You go to thedropshot.com as well. Find links to the Patreon, the YouTube, the Twitter, the Discord, all of those things. And reminder, we still have some merch on sale for 50% off. Use coupon code BLOWOUT for anything and everything in our store at thedropshot.com/store for 50% off. Make sure you use coupon code BLOWOUT, or don't, ideally, because we still got a couple of inventory items there. Thank you all for watching and listening. Stay humble.
Stay humble.